Okay, how you doing? Sam here. We're going to be looking at Doom. We're also going to be talking about Polygon's Doom video and something I wrote a little while back for the Superplex Brothers, which I will be reading part of to you that actually kind of really makes sense here. So, as you can see, I'm starting up Doom here as we go. I'm very sorry to say that I didn't record this locally when I streamed it, so I had to pull the stream down from YouTube to make this video. So I apologize in advance if the quality is not as good. As you can see, I'm playing on the PC, and I've set everything to Ultra, being as how my PC is running a 980 Ti, 64 gigs of RAM, that sort of stuff. So, let's get into it here. I also tried to set Polygon's footage, which will appear in the upper right, to be within a frame or two, hopefully, of what I was recording at the time or streaming at the time. And I kind of got it, but not really. So things may go a little weird. Yeah, they're a little bit ahead here, but then it catches up. I don't really get it. Anyway, a couple days ago, Polygon released their first 30 minutes of Doom. And it pretty much became the laughingstock of gaming in general. The footage that they showed had someone who really just did not know how to play video games at all. And it kind of really brings up a point, again, that I had made in an article a little while back on the Superplex Brothers. And let me pull that up for you now. Apologies for hearing my mouse click. So, I had written an article back in February, I want to say. Yeah, February. Talking about games journalism, stuff like that. I've been involved in it for off and on for over 15 years. I'm an old man. But one of the things that I had said in it when talking about games journalists is that many of them are not gamers. And I wrote, this may sound like a cop-out. Many of those in gaming journalism claim to be gamers. If we listen to more recent film enthusiasts... Sorry. I completely skipped that. Anyway, if we listen to more recent rhetoric, anyone who plays any type of game is a, quote, gamer. But just like I wouldn't call anyone who goes to the movies a film enthusiast, I wouldn't call anyone who picks up and plays a mobile browser game or browser game a gamer. Film enthusiasts make watching films either in their home or at the movie theater a main hobby of theirs. They spend a good deal of their play money on films, big screen, high-resolution TVs, elaborate sound systems, etc., in much the same way that gamers make gaming their main hobby. They spend a lot of their play money on games, consoles, gaming PCs, etc. My mother plays Candy Crush on Facebook, as an example. However, she doesn't make it her main hobby. She also does needlepoint, knits Afghans for my niece, etc. And she'd surely never consider spending thousands on a PC to play games at their highest resolution and frame rate, or to even spend a few hundred on a console. I would not consider my mother a gamer. But it actually goes beyond just what one considers a gamer. Over the years, I've been privy to seeing things happen on and offline, with supposed professional game journalists that would make one wonder if they even knew the first thing about games. Seriously, at times it makes me wonder how they turn on their consoles. It's no major secret that many game reviewers play games on the easiest setting when they get their review copies. As someone who has received review copies in the past, I can tell you that the excuse often cited, we need to get the games finished and reviewed quickly in order to have the review up when the embargo lifts, can be a semi-valid excuse. Can be. Or, more appropriately, used to be. Often, but not always, publishers send out review copies to those outlets that get them a few weeks before the release of the final game. In today's digital age, where game code can be downloaded to our consoles, it makes it even easier. Game reviewers aren't waiting for FedEx or UPS or the Postal Service to show up with their review copies. They just get an email with a code for whichever version of the game it is and can start downloading. Considering many of them do this at their offices, where one would hope they have a decent internet connection, this makes the process fairly painless. However, it should also be noted that the easiest setting does not always give the most balanced picture of a game. Enemies are easier, players have more health and ammo, or whatever can be done to make the game easier depending on the genre. The normal setting in most games often gives a nice balance of fun and challenge. That's why it's called normal after all. Often games have the harder difficulties for those who want a greater challenge, but in general, the normal setting is considered the default setting for most games. It allows for even people not that skilled in the games to have a challenge while still also having fun. Anyone anymore playing games on easy to review games is really just trying to blow through the game as fast as possible. The problem lies, though, in the fact that some developers don't want people to just play on the easy modes. They want people to experience at least the default or normal setting. As a result, they sometimes put things in at the end of a game on easier difficulties or remove things from the end to encourage the playing of the harder difficulties. This came to light when one reviewer working for one of the biggest gaming sites criticized a game for just booting the player back to the title screen at the end, to which a developer said that this scenario only happens on the easy setting, not on normal or above. Now, the reviewer has claimed that he did play both easy and normal settings, but that it wouldn't have changed the final review. But after being called out on it, the reviewer did edit the review to remove that original statement, an act that truthfully made it look like the reviewer was trying to cover up the fact that he had only played on the easy for review. Some of the big sites have also hosted streams of their reviewers playing games, with the stream showing their editors barely able to play the games. As an example, one of the biggest gaming sites around right now, 2 editors were shown live streaming a game that the site had just reviewed, and that one of the editors was the person who reviewed the game. As I watched the video, I started to ask myself how the person who reviewed the game had even done so, because they were having enormous trouble doing basic things in the game. I constantly heard cries of, "How do I do insert whatever in the game?" And in my head I was screaming, "You freaking reviewed it! How do you not know how to do basic things in the game?" All of the big sites have shown videos, previews of games, again with the editors playing, having equally as much trouble figuring out basic controls or even reading the on-screen tutorials or button prompts on how to do things, leading to much the same feeling while watching that video. Was it funny to see these so-called professionals fumble around unable to do basic things? In a cringeworthy rip-your-eyes-out-of-socket kind of way, I suppose. However, this does not instill confidence in the capability nor the proficiency of their ability to review said games. Considering one should actually be able to complete a game in order to review it, seeing these so-called professionals barely able to push the analog stick in the up direction to walk forward leaves one in a boggled state of mind. In gamer terms, these people aren't just overall bad at video games, they're terra-bad at them. I think I can safely say that none of us expect game reviewers to be MLG-level players able to 360 no-scope people left and right, but we do expect at least a minimal level of competency when it comes to how to play games. Watching these supposed professionals fumble around and make themselves appear like they haven't even played an Atari 2600 doesn't show off a great deal of competency on their part. So, when we get back to the Polygon part of their video, I even paused this video at some point to tweet out something, and I was behind them, and now I'm very far ahead of them. Anyway, when it gets down to it, when you watch the video, the person playing has no idea how to do anything in the game. They can't move and look at the same time. They can't aim and move at the same time. They can't shoot and move at the same time. It's pretty weird. I'm pretty upset to say I missed a secret here, but whatever. Anyway, so what I just read really shows itself in the video that Polygon put out. where they show a complete lack of proficiency in making anything. Or playing anything, I should say. And this does not instill faith when it comes to the review. Now, who was playing? That's up for debate. Initially, it seems that it had said that Arthur Geese, or Geis, however you pronounce his name, the person who is reviewing Doom for Polygon, was the one playing, but that seems to have been removed. Also, Polygon has not taken too kindly to the people that have been complaining about what they've done with this, as is pretty obvious, because they've not only disabled comments on the video, which they didn't have initially, but they've also disabled ratings, which means they pretty much know that they were showing off really horrible gameplay. I do want to mention that, yes, I am playing on the PC here. However, I am playing with a controller. Why? Because I suck with mouse and keyboard. Okay? I will say it. I was a Mac user for well over a decade, so I'm much more of a console peasant than a PC Master Race person. So I'm not really good with mouse and keyboard yet. I got to get back into it. I got to practice more. And I figured it would be easier to use a controller. But I will say that Doom controls very nicely with a controller. But, as I said, this really seems to show that a lot of these game reviewers, especially these so-called progressive ones who are out there complaining more about sexism and diversity in games over actually, doing anything game-related, really don't know how to play games. They're not gamers. They really took the gaming journalism job because it was there, but it's not something that they were actually into. And this is a big change from how it used to be, when I was younger. I used to read EGM when I was, 15, 16 years old. Just being able to afford my own stuff because I had jobs. And back then, the people that were reviewing games, they were gamers. They would tell you why a game was good or bad. They may not always have agreed with each other, and that's why EGM did a 3-review format for a long time. But in general, you could tell that each one had their own pros and cons for the games, which was great. Nowadays, it's like, if we hear Arthur Geese, or Geis, however you pronounce his fucking name, talk about the controls in Doom and how they're not very responsive, well, you watch that video and you go, really, dude? It looks like you don't know how to play the game, let alone be able to comment on it. So, it's definitely a weird thing. There are obviously a few different ways people can look at it. Well, maybe it was a mouse and keyboard person who'd never used the controller, then why didn't they use the PC version? These are questions that can be easily answered with another question. When it looks like the person can't even move the two sticks at the same time, there's a problem. That's just all there is to it. And these are people that are being paid to review games. Let that sink in. That's really all you have to think about while watching their video versus mine. And look, I'm not even saying that I'm great at first-person shooters. I'm not. Okay? Especially since I'm, using a controller. I'm a damn console peasant. But look at how much further ahead I am than them. And you'll see, you'll just see the difference right there. So, let's say we talk about my first impressions of Doom. I've played a couple hours so far. I am on the 4th or 5th mission. I'd have to look. But overall, with the campaign, I'm very impressed. It's paced nicely. It feels good on normal and above. If you really want that challenge, you can start out on Ultra Violence. You can't get to Nightmare or Ultra Nightmare until you beat the game. So that's just something to know. But it definitely feels good. It feels nice. The guns have a nice kick. The glory kill system is actually something I wasn't too sure how it was going to work out, but it actually works out really nice. One of the ways that it works is enemies get staggered. Here I find a Doom guy thing. I was like, yeah, man! Doom guy! But as I was saying, the difficulty seems really nice. The glory kill system is a nice way to get your health back if you need it, because they did put in frames of invincibility with it. So actually, while you're doing it, you're invincible for like the first half. So it's definitely a nice way to run up and get some health if you need it. They look nice. There's different ones depending on where you are in relation to the enemy, as well as how, like, what direction you're looking at on the enemy. Overall, it actually works out really nice, and it doesn't interrupt the flow of the gameplay at all, which is important because we don't want these things to interrupt the flow of gameplay. Too often you'll get, like, you know, these kill animations in certain games, and it just slows everything down. And here it doesn't happen. You feel really good while you're playing and while you're doing them. You know, you just run up on the enemy, bang, dead. I'm going to end this video actually with something I recorded where I did what to me is like the best freaking, yeah, how'd you like flying off that cliff? Anyway, it's like the best animation I've seen yet, where I take one of those big guys, throw them into a wall, and then smash their head with my foot. I was like, oh, that's awesome. The story, it's Doom. Hell has invaded Mars. There you go. Doom story. Does it mean it's bad? No. Does it mean it takes a back seat to other stuff? Yes, it does. And that's fine. Because people never played Doom for the story. That's just the truth. People played Doom to kill demons and find secrets, which I really have to do in this game. I have to go looking. The maps are big. I'm not sure how often I'm going to show a map in here, but they're big. They're very vertical. They're all over the place. And they hold a lot of secrets. And that's cool. That's fine. I like that. It just gives me another reason to have to go back in and play the levels that I've already beaten, and, you know, play through it again a couple times to try to get all the secrets and see how much better I can make Doom Guy for doing it. So this isn't a review. I have not yet played any of the multiplayer. I haven't fooled around with Snap Map. And those are two areas where I'm going to have to at least fool around with them before I get into a review. Because they did ship it with multiplayer. Not that, I don't know. The multiplayer beta did not really impress me that much. And they did put this map editor in, which could be really cool. Not that I'm any good at map editing, but it could be really cool. There could be some really cool maps out there, and I'll hopefully find out. So, am I happy with the game? So far, yes. Yeah, I'm going to say that. So far, the game seems really fun. The different challenges that you can do to help upgrade your suit and your weapons, they're awesome. Some of them are hard. I will say that. A lot of them revolve around finding a certain amount of secrets, which I'm not very good at yet. But the more I play it, the more I'll get to it. Oh, pardon me. I'm actually getting ready for bed and my painkillers are kicking in. So they're kind of knocking me out. So, anyway, I guess we'll just let this go until the Polygon one ends so we can see just how different it is when you have, a basic understanding of how games should be played versus, not even knowing how to use a controller. I guess. Alright. Well, thank you for watching. And I will talk to you guys next time.
Main power offline. All entrances not operational.
I am strong.
Main power online.
I believe in honesty, especially now, in what will be your final moments in this world. All the rumors, the human sacrifices, the helpful, the demons. It's all true. My sisters and brothers, be thankful. You will be the first. You will have a seat alongside them, just as I will, in what will become the new world that they create for us. Starting now.
Pretty big map.
My sisters and brothers, be thankful. You will be the first. You will have a seat alongside them, just as I will, in what will become the new world they create. I believe in honesty, especially now, in what will be your final moments in this world. All the rumors, the human sacrifices, the helpful, the demons. Sisters and brothers, be thankful. You will be the first.
Demonic presence at unsafe level. Not
That was nice.
We take pride in nurturing a growing workforce, and each year we harvest only the best of the best. To become more than you ever dreamed you could be, talk to your supervisor to see if you meet the requirements for this year's soul harvest.
Yellow security clearance required. Access denied. Yellow security clearance required. Access denied. Yellow security clearance required.
Like some ammo, please. Wow, okay. So apparently that was bad.
Here at the UAC, we take pride in nurturing.
Couldn't checkpoint me after I got the fucking armor.